Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at our top story this hour. After an unapologetic news conference by the Pakistan Prime Minister, India has reacted to his response to retaliate the threat. Hours after Imran Khan's emergency news briefing in Islamabad, New Delhi has said that it is not surprised that Pakistan is refusing to acknowledge the Pulwama attack. In a point-by-point rebuttal, India said that disclaiming the link between terror attacks and Pakistan is often a repeated excuse used by Islamabad. The statement called Imran's offer to investigate the matter as just another excuse, citing how India had to provide proof to Pakistan even after the 26/11 and even after the attack on Panakat Air Base. India said that promises of a guaranteed action seem hollow given Pakistan's track record. Slamming Imran Khan's Naya Pakistan claim, India questioned Imran Khan's ministers who have not once but on several occasions shared the stage with Hafiz Saeed and his aides. India expressed regret that Imran Khan linked India's response to the terror attack with the upcoming general elections, reminding Pakistan how India's democracy is a model for the world.
For the last more than 10 years. Likewise, on the terror attack on Pathankot Air Base, there has been no progress. Promises of guaranteed action ring hollow given the track record of Pakistan. The Prime Minister of Pakistan has referred to Naya Pakistan with a new thinking. In this Naya Pakistan, ministers of the current government publicly share platforms with terrorists like Hafiz Saeed, who have been proscribed by the United Nations. Pakistan's Prime Minister has called for dialogue and expressed his readiness to talk about terrorism. India has repeatedly stated that it is ready to engage in a comprehensive bilateral dialogue in an atmosphere free from terror and violence. Pakistan claims to be the greatest victim of terrorism. This is far from the truth. The international community is well acquainted with the reality that Pakistan is the nerve center of terrorism. It is regrettable that the Pakistani Prime Minister has insinuated that India's response to the terrorist attack is determined by the forthcoming general election. India rejects this false allegation. India's democracy is a model for the world, which Pakistan would never understand. We demand Pakistan to stop misleading the international community and to take credible and visible action against the perpetrators of Pulwama terrorist attack and other terrorists and terror groups operating from areas under their control.
Well, a strong statement coming from New Delhi this evening, reacting to Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. Remember, Imran Khan had offered for an investigation and said that if there is an actionable evidence, he will act. In New Delhi reacting to that statement, clearly saying what happened to the evidence provided after 26/11 terror attack and Pathankot terror attack. No action was taken by Pakistan. India slamming Imran Khan, saying it's a lame excuse. On Naya Pakistan, which Imran Khan talked about and has been talking about, India said that its own ministers have been sharing stage with terrorists like Hafiz Saeed. I can give you two important examples from last year when the Minister of State in the Ministry of Interior Ministry of Pakistan, Shahryar Khan, clearly said that nothing will happen to Hafiz Saeed as long as the Imran Khan government is here. And we saw their interfaith minister also sharing stage with Hafiz Saeed and making anti-India statements. No change from the Pakistani policy, which is something that New Delhi has been repeating for a pretty long time. Imran Khan had also given a particular reference to the Indian general election, saying that elections are near and that is why comments are coming from India.
Earlier, Chief Minister of Punjab Amarinder Singh had hit out at the Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, who accused India of blaming Islamabad for the Pulwama terror attack without proof. Let's listen in.
वही बंदा जो ना जैश मोहम्मद ਨੂੰ ਚਲਾਉਂਦਾ ਔਰ ਜੈਸ਼ मोहम्मद ਦਾ ਹਮਲਾ ਪ੍ਰੂਫ ਕਿਆ ਦੇਈ ਹੁਣ 26 ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੂਫ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਕੀ ਬਣਿਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਲਾਸ਼ਾਂ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਲੈ ਜਾਾਂਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਮਰੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਫੌਜ ਨੇ ਮਾਰੇ ਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਪਛਾਣੂਗਾ ਕਹੇਗਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਕੌਣ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ
This after Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan denied that Islamabad has any role to play in the Pulwama attack. Imran Khan said that Pakistan is heading towards stability and there is no reason why Pakistan should engage in terror. Imran Khan has said that his country will take action against organizations breeding terror on the country's soil. But if India tries to attack Pakistan, then his country will retaliate. Imran Khan further added that peace can be ushered in only through dialogues and not military action.
अगर आप ये समझते हैं कि आप पाकिस्तान के ऊपर कुछ किसी किस्म का हमला करेंगे, पाकिस्तान रिटेलिएट करने का सोचेगा नहीं, पाकिस्तान रिटेलिएट करेगा। पाकिस्तान कोई और दूसरा रास्ता नहीं होगा रिटेलिएट करने के बगैर, जवाब देने के बगैर।
Diplomatic sources are telling WION that the United States has called upon Pakistan to let Masood Azhar be placed on the United Nations list of global terrorists. We are being told that US officials have conveyed this message to Pakistani diplomats in Washington. The Jaish-e-Mohammed claimed responsibility for the deadly Pulwama terror attack. And earlier this week, India had urged the international community to support its move to place Jaish and its leader on a UN list of terrorists.
And the United States has formally called upon Pakistan to act against Masood Azhar and let him be placed on the United Nations global terror list, the global list of terrorists, of designated terrorists, on which Hafiz Saeed is on as well. Now remember, the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar has been allegedly been in Pakistan, been operating out of that Bahawalpur area as of reports that have been coming in. Pakistan has been denying Masood Azhar's presence and it has maintained that Jaish-e-Mohammed remains a banned terrorist organization. But what diplomatic sources, top diplomatic sources have been telling beyond that this was conveyed to the Pakistani diplomats in DC just last night or the night before within this week, and now it has been formally communicated to the Pakistani Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well by the Pakistani embassy in DC through a cable that has been written, that has been has been indeed been reviewed by the authorities here in Pakistan.
The Attorney General of Pakistan, Anwar Mansoor Khan, while arguing the case, said Pakistan was committed to a peaceful resolution of the case. India told the UN court yesterday that Pakistan's military court trial and sentencing of Jadhav has failed to satisfy due process. Now, tomorrow, India will be countering the argument made by the Pakistani side.
Over the unfortunate judge ad hoc nominated by Pakistan, the extraordinary situation that we find ourselves in, if proceedings continue, the vital part permanently frustrated, while a citizen of the complaint obliged to request the court to allow for another.
The 4-day trial began on Monday at the ICJ headquarters amidst heightened tensions between India and Pakistan in the wake of the Pulwama terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir, which killed 40 CRPF personnel. India urged the International Court of Justice to annul Jadhav's death sentence and order his immediate release. India's senior advocate Harish Salve submitted that Pakistan violated Article 36 of the Vienna Convention by not allowing consular access to Qabulshan Jadhav. This despite 13 reminders from New Delhi. Ahead of Salve's 3-hour-long submission, India diplomats at the ICJ ignored the handshake by Pakistan's officials. While Pakistan's Attorney General Anwar Masood Khan reached out to India's Foreign Affairs Secretary Deepak Mittal to shake his hand, Mittal responded with a namaste. Khan then extended his hand to Indian ambassador to the Netherlands, Venu Rajamoni, and Rajamoni too greeted him with a namaste.
Well, what happened today at the World Court was something that Islamabad has always been doing, politicizing the entire issue. Well, when we saw how India's counsel yesterday was arguing, it was based on facts, it was based on Vienna Convention, the articles and law. today what the Pakistani Council did was try to politicize it and clearly put into the entire code India-Pakistan equation. What he did is to quote, of course, few Indian journalists when it comes to proving that Kulbhushan Yadav was a spy. But interestingly, he also dragged the name of India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and his famous statement that if another Mumbai happens, Pakistan will lose Baluchistan. Clearly, it shows that how Pakistan is using the world code to stage its own propaganda.
Moving on to our next story, 2 jets of the Indian Air Force's Surai Kiran aerobatic team came crashing down after they collided in Bengaluru. This is a day before the Aero India show begins in the city. On your screens now are the visuals of the moment when the crash occurred. One of the 3 pilots died in the accident. The 2 others who ejected safely have been injured. The collision happened while the rehearsals for the Aero India show were going on in Bengaluru. The 2 aircraft of the aerobatics wing of the Air Force were practicing spin maneuvers when the accident happened. A video showed thick black plumes of smoke coming from near the Yelakhana Air Base.
जाने से क्या बोलते हैं साइड में ये आता है ना क्या बोलते हैं उसको हाँ विंग्स टच किया दोनों भी टच किया ये विंग्स आके ये घर के पास गिरा वो घर ब्लैक वाला वो उधर गिरा और 2 जाके सामने गिर के वो क्या बर्निंग स्टार्ट हो गया बर्निंग स्टार्ट होने से 2 पायलट जंप मार दिया उन लोग 2 बचाव हो गया और 2 पायलट ने उसको थोड़ा क्लैश होके बर्न हो गया उसका सिर पूरा कट हो गया था पायलट का हाँ उधर पूरा गिरा था फिर हम लोग आ गया.
While 2 pilots ejected to safety, one of the co-pilots died in the tragic crash. The Aero India show begins from tomorrow and will continue until the 24th of February. Bengaluru has been hosting the Aero show since it started in 1996. The last Aero India show was held in February of 2017. Reports suggest that Huawei is going to extreme lengths to steal Apple trade secrets. Huawei is attempting to misappropriate Apple trade secrets by talking to former employees of the Californian company and its supply chain partners. In one reported case, a person was interviewed for a role at Huawei right after leaving Apple, but were only asked questions about the US firm's upcoming products. The previously unreported incident reflects what current and former employees at Apple and its suppliers say is a pattern of dubious tactics Huawei employs to obtain technology from rivals, especially from Apple suppliers in China. Meanwhile, Huawei denied any wrongdoing in a statement. The mobile phone giant has said in conducting research and development, Huawei employees must search and use publicly available information and respect third-party intellectual property per our business conduct guidelines. Huawei, which recently surpassed Apple to become the world's second biggest smartphone maker, has been at the center of a trade fight between the US and China amid accusations by US authorities that Huawei steals technology. In January, the US Justice Department unsealed an incident accusing Huawei of pilfering trade secrets from wireless carrier T-Mobile USA. US companies such as Cisco Systems and Motorola have made similar claims against Huawei in civil lawsuits. Earlier this month, Chicago-based Akan Semiconductor, which makes durable smartphone glass, said it cooperated with a federal investigation into the theft of its intellectual property by Huawei. Akan claims Huawei used the prospect of a business relationship to acquire samples of its glass, which Huawei then took apart and studied. Now, the financial landscape of Europe is changing as Wall Street's biggest banks are shifting their operations from London to other European capitals in time for Britain's exit from the European Union. In the existing hard exit scenario, banks like Goldman Sachs, Bank of America and Morgan Stanley are shifting base in a move that will spread financial services across Europe. Employees and assets worth billions of dollars are being moved from London to new subsidiaries ahead of Britain's divorce from the EU. Banks are also adjusting and updating their contracts with Brexit clauses to shield themselves if the separation is chaotic. Lawyers are checking regulations, jurisdiction and possible contractual disputes. Frankfurt, Paris, Dublin and Luxembourg will be the first to secure new business and financial services. The Bank of America is shifting base to Dublin, whereas Morgan Stanley's European hub of Frankfurt is doubling its staff. The fragmentation of the industry is set to weigh in on companies and Europe's wider economy, with running operations in different locations set to make financial services more expensive. Banking experts say that these measures are just the beginning of what could be a decade of realignment. Japanese car maker Honda is set to announce the closure of its Swindon plant in southwest of England. According to media reports, the plant is scheduled to close in 2022, leading to 3,500 job losses. The Swindon plant is Honda's only UK factory. Lawmaker Justin Tomlinson said that he has met with the business minister and representatives from Honda who confirmed the plans. Tomlinson further said that the decision was not related to Brexit. But for the factory workers, the future is uncertain.
We haven't really heard anything, but obviously, as you can imagine, the reaction is terrible. Yeah, doom and gloom. Lots of families, lots of people with children, like ourselves. So yeah, gutted, really. Yeah, absolutely gutted.
Where does this leave you?
This is out of a job, but so yeah. Apart from that, don't know no more. Really, yeah, just gutted. Yeah.
And have you been given any kind of timescale or explanation about the decision?
No, I've been told any news, so we'll just wait and see. We're hearing there might be a meeting tomorrow, so we'll just wait and see what they say about that tomorrow. But obviously it's all over social media, so yeah, that's all we know at the moment.
See, I've got 2 kids, I've got a missus. Obviously this is my full-time job, this is my life, this is my lifeline. So obviously without this, I'm now, well, technically I'm jobless. So I've now it said on the news you've got till 2022, so I suppose I've got 3 years to find myself a new job.
What do you think are the chances of that in Swindon? How important has this been for you?
It's mental. This is the biggest employer in Swindon, 3,500 employees, and that's just direct. You not talk about indirect, the other companies you got and everything else. Mate, it's going to be the biggest recession we've probably seen in Swindon in years.
Honda built more than 160,000 vehicles at its Swindon factory last year, accounting for more than 10% of the UK's total output of 1.52 million cars. Though the UK lawmakers maintain that the closure has nothing to do with Brexit, one needs to remember that Japan has repeatedly warned that it could pull investments out of the UK if London does not secure a Brexit deal favourable to trade. Moving on to our next story, the Vatican has confirmed that it has general guidelines for what procedures to follow if a priest breaks his celibacy vow and fathers a child. According to a Vatican spokesperson, these guidelines exist as an internal document which has never been brought out into the public domain. The 2017 document essentially focuses on the protection of the child and requests the father to leave priesthood and assume his responsibilities as a parent by devoting himself exclusively to the child. This week, the Vatican will gather senior bishops from around the world for a conference on sex abuse. The unprecedented 4-day meeting, starting on Thursday, brings together many people who feel that they have been wronged by the Church's culture of secrecy and aversion to scandals. There will be the victims of clerical abuse, nuns who are sexually assaulted by priests, and children of priests. Recently, a former US Cardinal, Theodore McCarrick, was expelled from Roman Catholic priesthood after he was found guilty of sexual crimes against minors and adults. He has now become the highest profile church figure to be dismissed from priesthood in modern times. The decision comes as the church continues to grapple with the decades-long sexual abuse crisis that has now exposed how predator priests were moved from parish to parish instead of being defrocked or turned over to civilian authorities in countries across the globe.